We are building a new way. Please stand. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. Feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. Hate and jealousy. We are working to be free. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. Start with love, that is the seed. We can feed our every need. Set free, freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without these, this world will die. Peace and freedom is our cry.
Goodness. Good morning. And welcome to this service of worship at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Tucson. My name is Greg Bettinger, and it's my privilege to be serving as your worship associate this morning. I'm joined by our minister, Reverend Jamili Omar, and our special guest and consulting minister, Reverend Sam Wilson. And in case you've lost track or you're watching online, today is Sunday, March 8th, 2026. Our community is striving to become as varied as the blooms of the Sonoran Desert. Whoever you've been, we welcome you. Whoever you are, we welcome you. And whoever you are becoming, we welcome you and invite you to bring your whole self here now. There are gender-specific bathrooms out the glass doors behind you, and there is also an accessible and gender-inclusive single-stall restroom in the alcove behind the AV desk towards the back there. On Sunday mornings only, the sanctuary, the social hall, our parking lots, and our children's classrooms are open to all without invitation. However, for various reasons, we have designated a number of other areas as private, even on Sunday morning. Private offices are labeled, and entry to those spaces is by invitation only for all of us and also any law enforcement officers, including ICE, unless they have a proper judicial warrant. If you don't feel safe and need to take advantage of these spaces at any time, you are invited to do so. As we worship today, let us always remain mindful of the desert people who came first to this place and whose land was stolen in successive acts of displacement and genocide. We honor the O'odham, the Yaqui, and the Apache. We also honor the Hohokam and the many other ancient indigenous peoples whose names are not known to us. As Unitarian Universalists, we acknowledge certain fundamental shared values. 6 of them, actually, and as you see in our slide, they revolve around the core value, love. That word, that concept of love, has many different interpretations, And the early Universalists and Unitarians, separately before the 1960s joining into one association, had different ways of connecting love to their views of the world and of God. UUs now maintain that love is the power that holds us together and is at the center of our shared values. We are accountable to one another for doing the work of living our shared values through the spiritual discipline of love. As we move more deeply into the sacred space of worship, please know that you are indeed welcome here. Whether you walked in, rolled, or skipped, wherever you are on your spiritual journey, whatever cultural and ethnic background you claim, whatever your immigration status, whomever you love, however you identify your gender, and in whatever way you choose to express it, you are truly welcome here. We especially welcome any new visitors this morning. And if you are new and are feeling up to it, I invite you to raise your hand so that we can welcome you warmly. Whoa. Thank you, and we look forward to seeing you during social hour.
This is the only magic that happens in service today, so enjoy it. The joke I just made was that the pulpit automatically adjusts, and it went down on its own. Ooh. As Greg said, I'm Reverend Jamelia Omar. I'm the minister of the UU Church of Tucson, and I am delighted to be here with you today. But I have a conundrum. Today is both International Women's Day, and we are talking about caring for our community. Care is such a complicated thing for those of us assigned female at birth and brought up in a culture which expects the bulk of emotional and household labor, workplace labor to fall on our shoulders. So today, the invitation is for everyone to consider the ways in which you give care in your community, here and outside of our walls. Because care itself and caring for others is not gendered. Like constellations made of individual stars, care is my single bright flame of my life connecting to the single bright flame of your life. That is not gendered. Strung together like this, in an infinite web of relationships, this is how we light up the world with our love. This is how we save our world. This is how we save our communities and how we save ourselves. As Reverend Julian Jamaica Soto writes, all of us need all of us to make it. Human maps make up stars, writes Karen Johnson. She continues, choosing some stars, ignoring others, we make constellations. We project our imaginations into the heavens, and these maps shift over time and across cultures. Name change for the assemblage of bright points, the drinking gourd, the Big Dipper, the plow, lost hunters. Humans make constellation by connecting stars. Humans make meaning by connecting stories, story to story, narrative to story, me to you. Some blaze bright and some are faint. Most are backdrop to the great and mundane human unfolding. So let us imagine the stories of our lives as a starry universe above our heads. As the people of this congregation, we are tasked and trusted to draw constellations in this, our beloved, small universe. May the stories we connect draw constellations that reflect a shared ministry that calls out the best in us. Come, let us build a new way together. Come, let us worship together. So if you're at home and you have a candle or a chalice with you, please light it now as our worship leaders say these words. The chalice is a symbol of our faith. Like our faith, it is not magic, nor is it mysterious. We write it as a reminder of what we share as a community and who each of us is called to be.
When we feel.
Are you on? Oh, that's the magic.
When we feel lost in a chaotic world, may the light of our chalice show us our path. When we are afraid of the times we live in, may the light of our chalice give us courage. And when we despair at the injustice and the cruelty around us, may the light of our chalice recall us to a faithful hope.
And please read the words on the screen with Greg.
Our chalice is a symbol
Of our
commitment to each other and to ourselves. We light today as a gathered community that we may understand more completely and act more boldly and hope more fiercely. If you're able, would you rise and join me in singing a song that is many UU's favorite hymn in the hymnal. If it's new to you, fall in wherever you can. But if you know the song, see if you can isolate what you like about it. Is it the words? Is it the piano part that's almost a perfect transcription of Peter Mayer? I think it's just fun to sing. So find it for yourselves as we sing. Though below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, the sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, wheeling over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making a way by the lights of the heavens to a beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks for the graves upholding me. Hail the great winds urging me on. Greet the infinite sea before me. Sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home.
Definitely my favorite. For the suffering of others and for so many other reasons, we set aside this moment together to remember, to honor, and to hold dear the joys and sorrows in our lives. We symbolize our coming together with our shared bowl. With these large stones, we reach down to the stability and firmness of the earth, which has witnessed every migration and movement since it coalesced out of stardust. With this water, we remember that this life-sustaining resource is not always available to all. We offer our witness to those migrating at this very moment, especially those moving through our desert without access to water. With our small stones, we add our personal celebrations and mourning. Now it is your turn to contribute as you choose to. One way is to go to menti.com and put in the code 7725-7616. Please add your name if you want us to know who is sharing. And if you need help with that, Brian Moon is available to give you a hand on his phone. If you would like to contribute in person, I'll invite you in a moment to come to one of our tables and place a stone in the water to create ripples that will carry your intentions forward. The table in the back is off camera for those who prefer that option. This act starts personal, but as we're reminded by Robert Kennedy in 1966, each time a person stands up for an ideal or acts to improve the lot of others or strikes out against injustice, it sends forth a tiny ripple of hope, and crossing each other from a million different centers of energy and daring. Those ripples build a current which can sweep down the mightiest walls of oppression and resistance. Today and for the past several days, I've been saddened by the destruction that is being levied upon the people of Iran. Destruction that is being wrought in my name as a citizen of our country. But as many of us shouted in 1966, during a time of similar oppression and unwarranted destruction, no more, not in my name. Now I invite you to engage in a moment of silent reflection, meditation, or prayer as we create our own ripples of hope.
on Menti this morning. Very joyful to be with my Tucson church community this weekend, as we are joyful to have you with us wherever you exist, time and space. Having surgery on Thursday, prayers are always welcome. We'll miss being here afterwards. Pray for you, friends. Grateful for so very much and for gratitude itself, the balm of pain and the path forward. Think of my son whose birthday is this week. Happy birthday, son, and happy Parents' Day to you parents. Another son is about to get his driver's license this week. We pray for safe driving. Stay on the roads. Can be a trying moment, but a wonderful moment in a young person's life. So please join me in a moment of prayer or reflection or meditation, whatever meets your need at this moment, as I read these words by Vanessa Rush Southern and Allison Jacks. They write, "Life is complicated and uncertain, and gorgeous with some things we can count on. It has seasons of struggle and seasons of delight, and sometimes the two blow in and bloom simultaneously. Like now, maybe always. And here we are together, all of us from different corners of the world and different families and different places, here, breathing together, questioning together, holding each other through it all, laughing and singing in the face of it. If there is a journey to liberation, is there a way to live through, I think this is it. May what holds us in bondage or death or loss or hurt or sadness or literal heartbreaking limits be released. And may what gives us life and hope and joy, rebirth, feel invited to claim us, and may we claim it. Sinking our roots down into what grounds us, reaching towards the sun, flowering into the season, all of whose traditions witness to life more abundant claiming us. After a season of loss and a winter of struggles of heart and mind and spirit. And may we open our hearts to the abundance of creation that surrounds and sustains us. Amen, and may it be so.
Please remain seated for this next song, unless you really want to stand, but For All That Is Our Life. 128, the words will be on the screen. Maybe a little faster. 1 and 2. For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift, which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad. For needs which others serve, for services we give, for work and its rewards, for hours of rest and love, we come with praise and thanks. Through all that is our life. For sorrow we must bear, for failures, pain, and loss, for each new thing we learn, for fearful hours that pass, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life. For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift, which we are called to use to build the common good
Thank you all. So, if you've gotten your email this week or you've gotten your snail mail this week, you know that we are in stewardship season. This is the time when we ask explicitly for members and friends of our congregation to let us know how much you are able to financially contribute to the upkeep of our church. Your pledge, as it is known, is your promise to give that much. There are literal expenses that your financial contributions pay for: electricity, water, our musicians, our child care staff. We can pay these amazing people because you all fulfill your pledges. So now those of us who have been around church or other nonprofits talk about stewardship as if it was an actual season like summer. So I have said that in Tucson we have 3 seasons, right? Summer, hell, and stewardship. Stewardship is when we explicitly talk about money. And, as I said last week, if you get an email from me saying, send me an Amazon gift card or go to Circle K and get me a gas card, don't do it. That's a scam. But if you got your paper in the mail, that is not. That's our genuine request for your support of this contribution, of this community. And we know that when we talk about money, that is hurtful to many of us. We come not just with generational challenges and talking openly about finances. We also know that under capitalism, our worth is often defined by the dollars in our pockets. The more you have, the more worthy you are. And many of us have internalized this message, and some of us feel deep shame when we can't offer the financial support to the community at the level that reflects our gratitude for it. Just know that I witness that in you, and I honor your pain. This is a difficult and tough topic that we need a lot of healing from. And can we possibly imagine a world where we heal that pain so that we can live authentically into our value that, quote, every person is inherently worthy and has the right to flourish with dignity, love, and compassion? Can we live into that value? And though this time of year is when we talk explicitly about money, stewarding UUCT is way more than money. Your time is valuable. Your unique, special knowledge and skills are valuable. You are valuable just by being here. Every hour you give here, every hour that you are here, is one more connection in this vast constellation that we are creating together. So here's where you get to jump in. Where, beyond your pledge, where are some ways that you care for our community? Care team. Choir. Worship associate. Facilities team. AV team. OWL. Cleaning up garbage. Recording auction bids. Oh my gosh, how would we know what our auctions were if you didn't record that? Say it again. Showing up. Kitchen crew. Share the plate. Ushers. Greeters. Say it again. AV. Board of Trustees. Grief group. Minister. History. Membership. Care for the buildings. Jesus. Who's mentioning Jesus? Right? There are so many ways that we each individually care for this communities, and our finances, yes, is a piece of it. What would our finance team do if we didn't have finances? Right? Got to keep them busy. Without your treasure, your financial generosity, we can't continue to be a beacon of light in the desert. So what if our goal this year is to be bold? Be generous in our care for each other this year. Bold in our offers to extend care, to extend that support out before it's asked. What if we were bold in our acceptance of care from...
Build in a new way. I feel like we got to stand for that. Please. We are are building our new way. We are building our new way. We are building our new way, feeling stronger every day. We are building our new way. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. Hate and greed and jealousy. We are working to be free.
Scene, Science Camp, 1999. We are stowed away in a forest in my childhood home of Southern California. We have eaten the cafeteria food. We have filled the water bottles, and we are following the camp counselor into the hills. He tells us to get quiet. We're not sure why. The forest is thick, but not too thick. It's Southern California. But it smells good. It's caramel and pine and warm and cedar. And he gathers us close around him, and we are very curious. And he tells us in a hushed tone, reminiscent of a ghost fire camp tale, "There's a war going on around us." We gasp. We're supposed to make guesses about who is at war. A few of us do half-heartedly, some overconfidently. All of us guess wrong. He reveals the combatants. It's the trees. They are in an endless battle for sunlight and water. The incense cedars, the Jeffrey pine, the sugar pine, ruthless. Their competitive nature described to us, their fight to secure their children's spot in the best place of the forest. The seedlings, once on their own, the fight for the sun in a canopy of man-spreading elders. The metaphors we choose are so important. 2 years prior to that story is a different story, 1997. Suzanne Simard grows up in British Columbia amongst the cedars, hemlocks, firs, and white pines. And as a child, she knew in her DNA the mystery of their connection. But she also grew up in a family of loggers. Her dad, her uncles, her granddad, all in which these trees were both sacred and commodities. And then she decides to go into academia, in which she learned she was able to pick the forest apart. She says, there are trees, there is soil, there are plants. It was such a reductionist way of seeing a place that I had known growing up was actually whole. Fight for sun, worry about shade, get enough water. And then she works for the forest industry as a silviculturist, which is a very fancy word for a person whose job it is to establish the trees and for commodification purposes. So she realizes, though, as she's with the trees, with the DNA in her bones, about their wholeness, that quickly the separating out of trees, the cutting and spraying back of all those pesky little competitors, the insurance that everything got equal amounts of sun and water, all of that actually led to illness of trees. and that consistently in the forests that she surveyed, 10% were always sick. Even though, technically, all their needs are met. Why are 10% always sick? So she wanted to prove what she knew in her bones and what indigenous science has known forever. But she wanted to prove it using Western scientific world science to tell Western science what her child body already knew, that life is connected. And so she used isotopes as a way to carefully track the resources as they moved between trees, birch to fir, that they shared over 50 species of fungus that connected them together, communicating, forming a network that when she tried to artificially shade fir, the more birch sent carbon in support. So it wasn't just competition, it was cooperation. And she would publish this in a magazine, Nature, as the Wood Wide Web. To much awe and outrage. She later conducts another study to understand how the most big, most old trees, the elders of a forest, were intimately connected with the whole. And she could track that they sent their resources to seedlings, recognizing them as kin, helping them establish themselves in the forest. And Suzanne called these the mother trees. They intentionally let go of their resources to build a relational network. Now, as you can imagine, both the Wood Wide Web and the mother tree were fiercely critiqued by the scientific community. Webs, mothers, grandmothers, children, this was not the metaphor we agreed on. But the metaphors we choose are important. They shape our reality and our relatedness, and it shapes how we think and give and receive with one another. Now, yesterday, nearly 30 of us gathered right here in a circle doing some history tending of the decade of 2006 to 2017 in this congregation. Those were the years of the ministry of Reverend Diane Daugert and Reverend Lynn Oglesby. Our purpose was to notice the landscape of trees, to notice the patterns and the relationships and the survival strategies and the grief that occurred during that time between people, between congregants, with staff, and the leadership of those seasons. Now, we had the chance to listen deeply to two people, Beth Britton and Natasha Warner. They modeled speaking from knee to knee what it took to listen and share from the heart. It was such a remarkable demonstration of human capacity for care that to a person in the room, we were in awe. We were in awe. I say we witnessed two mother trees. In the circle of reflection that EJ and Reverend Jamili led afterwards, we were naming what we heard and saw, and one brilliant participant, Mike, named something that left us all nodding in recognition that there is something uniquely devastating in a community when you feel afraid of both your financial resources and your relatedness eroding simultaneously. And my sense of this is that we each show up here carrying rather difficult, likely painful metaphors about money, as Reverend Jamili shared, how it relates to our relatedness. Are we secure? Are we responsible? Are we safe? Are we valuable? Will we be okay? Will my children be okay? And in the midst of that, we come to church. Right. Jody scoffed. The front row is full of hecklers. You don't know this because you're in the other rows. These three are mischief every Sunday. Join them if you want a different experience of church. But we come to church. And if church is worth anything, it's a place where we practice ourselves into different metaphors. Whether they be new ones or ones we knew in our bones when we were children. And yesterday we practiced being in a community where we could trust that the whole could be held even if it begins with the two. And we said, let's try to make it 10% better rather than 10% sicker. And we practice every stewardship season when we make resource promises to the imperfect collective effort of church, and in which we send our resources into the care of volunteers of the whole, and we dream of a world that leaves us less commodified, less sick, and less separate from each other. And you will practice next year with Francis when you dream about the ways you want to nurture your future. Not necessarily by growing in numbers, but in clarity of purpose and practice. And that will not necessarily grow in the direction of your individual preference, but it will grow in each of us a capacity to move with one another in collective willingness, which is what we need now more than ever. It's a world that defies metaphors of separation and competition in some kind of battle, endlessly moving for resources. Why? Because we know separation's a lie. It's one of our core values. Separation is a lie, interdependence is real. And we know, in the words of Mickey Cashtan, every tree wants to make a forest. A seed does not break open because it dreams of domination. Every tree wants to make a forest. It breaks open because of the embrace of another's darkness, the unconditional warmth of another's sun, and the flow of water from another sky. Why? Because every tree wants to make a forest. And when saplings grow, they are made whole by another person's shade. They are in the embrace of another's protection. They gather strength by another's willingness to share and be strong with them. Why, Jamili? Every tree wants to make a forest. When the elder trees die, they don't hold themselves back in self-preservation. The role of the elder is to defy fear. Elders let themselves fall like leaves, releasing all they can to all those they can, long before they gone. Elders, why? Because every tree wants to make a forest. And when the grandmother tree falls, she is generations in the making. She takes the shape of a rooted butterfly. The rooted butterfly whose great metamorphosis happens right at the end. Hecklers, why? Good job. And in the broken open sky where the grandmother once stood, sunlight will pour in. Resilient and ready to the community of trees nurtured there. Why? Because every tree wants to make a forest. And may it be so here in all our days to come.
We can feed our every need. Please rise and sing. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. Start with love, that is the seed. We can feed our every need.
I do like magic. Like joys and sorrows, the offering is something we do each week. Our congregation is entirely self-supporting. That is, we don't receive any outside funding for the regular ongoing operations of the church. So obviously, we need your financial support. At the same time, we say that all are welcome here, regardless of your financial means, and that is true as well. Please know that we appreciate all gifts to this community of faith. If you're watching online, you can mail a check to the church office or go to our website, uuctucson.org/donate. And for those of you here in person, the ushers will now circulate baskets for your donations.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Jan Mulder, and I'm a member of your Board of Trustees. My portfolios are church leadership and denomination. First, I want to invite everyone to Social Hall after the service in Goddard, which is out the double doors behind you and to your left. There will be coffee, iced tea, lemonade, snacks, and of course, good company. Social hour food and refreshments are free for all, and donations are appreciated to cover our costs. Also, if you're new and want to stay in touch with us, you can fill out a guest information card in the Welcome Center in Goddard Hall. You can also find a virtual guest information card in the newcomers section of our website. Of course, we have some announcements. There's quite a few. They're kind of pieced together here, so hold on. Voting is open to pick the new color for the administrative office, so stop on by today and cast your vote. Please review your listing in the church directory, which is located in the members section of the website. If any updates or corrections are needed, please contact the office. We don't want anyone to miss out on the wealth of information our church provides each week. Just a note that Shakisha is home ill on Monday and maybe Tuesday. Call the office this week to be sure she's here if you need to come by. And Josefina Humana Work Center is set up in Goddard with information about workers available to help with a variety of home tasks. So stop on by if you think they might be able to help you. And then finally, on the denomination front, it's never too early to start thinking about the UU General Assembly, which will be June 14th to 21st this year, and held virtually with some remote viewing opportunities. Please see me if you have questions and look for upcoming announcements about opportunities to represent us as a delegate to GA, or as I like to call it, UU Palooza.
In fundraising, there's a mantra called repeat, repeat, repeat. We use that here on many occasions, but today, as part of our stewardship campaign, I'm repeating some of the information you've already heard, and I have some new items. So as you figured out, today is the official start of our stewardship campaign, a time when members and friends pledge their annual financial support to UUCT. This church belongs to each of us. We pledge to fund the daily operations and to ensure that the church and its resources are here for us today and for others now and well into the future. Pledge and other revenue, like the annual auction, rental income, and other donations, support our worship and music programs, our church staff, as well as the religious education and OWL programs for our younger members. I think most of you received a letter in the mail yesterday from our minister and board president, in which they outlined the many ways we're building our new way with your generosity. Members of our stewardship team, Tom Gregg and Margot Garcia, will be set up in Goddard during social hour today to help you with making your pledges online or by filling out a physical pledge card. They'll also have giving information for you to review, and they'll be there to answer any questions you may have about pledging and the stewardship campaign. And finally, I'm happy to report that the many leaders in our church community have already made their generous pledges for the coming year, and to date, those total close to $98,000. Yay, yay. Now that represents about 30% of our anticipated budget for the next year, so we have a ways to go, but that is a great, great start. As Reverend Jamili and Wendy say in their letter, your generosity makes all this possible for UUCT. It says yes to all of our ministries. It says yes to care for one another, and it says yes to the opportunities we've yet to imagine. So thank you very, very much.
We are grateful for the sun and moon, the sky and earth, for living things that all have worth, for desert brown and sky of blue, and grateful to be sharing them with you.
Friends, I don't have a story for us today. I have a series of questions. And so, young people, if you want to go and have some conversation in a minute with your grown-ups, you might want to go and sit with your grown-ups. So, we have a friend here who's looking for her adults. Do you see them? Okay, good. Ben, do you want to go sit with your dad? Okay. So, here's the question. We've given out several metaphors today about what our community is. What do you remember? This is the test. Do you remember? The first one was stars and constellations, and then forest, right? The trees. Every tree wants to create a forest, right? Okay, we got that. Okay, so here's my invitation to you. In a minute when I say go, I'm going to ask you to find a neighbor to talk to. The challenge, the gold stars today, are for those of you that can come up with a new metaphor. What's another metaphor we can think of for our church community? If that doesn't work for you, if your brain is like, I don't like metaphors, I want us to imagine, what could our church community be and do for each other? And what are you willing and able to commit to our community? Now, I'm not talking about pledges, I'm not talking about money, but what are you willing and able to commit? Is it that you're going to show up? Is it that you're going to talk to the person next to you, which I'm going to ask you to do in just a minute? That seems like a low commitment, right? Is it that you are going to turn in a pledge card? What is your commitment? So I'm going to give you 3 minutes. Find a neighbor, find a metaphor, and then you will be sharing out. There's an exam. Go. You have 1 more minute. 1 more minute. And the chancel team has a good one. Can't help it. Okay, wrap up your conversation. As always, we hope these continue over in social hour. Maybe we can generate some more metaphors. Now, the chancel team came up with a really good metaphor. The front row is better. So you get to go first. What was your metaphor? A vegetable garden. Okay.
We all tend to care for each other.
We tend to care for each other. Oh, we tend to care for each other, and that's what allows us to grow. Okay. Oh, vegetable soup. We nurture the soup. And what's lovely about soup, as opposed to like baking, is soup you can just throw stuff in, right? When you're baking, you like have to measure it, and it's but soup could be anything. I love it. Radical welcome. Other metaphors. What have we got? Steve. We are spark. Oh. Oh. Yeah. Steve is going to set us on fire. We're a spark that lights other sparks like a little pilot light. That's sweet. Tom and then Celeste.
We came up with 2.
Okay.
One is an orchestra.
An orchestra. Absolutely.
And when everybody's working in their part, they create beautiful harmony.
We create beautiful harmonies together.
The other one was a safety net.
Oh.
A sense of safety.
Yeah. A safety net for each other. That's lovely. That's lovely. Celeste and then, Kathleen, were you in that group with them? No, I was not. Okay, so Celeste and then Kathleen. Oh, a choir. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Aw, a choir that feeds the congregation with beautiful music. That's lovely. Kathleen?
Well, we were similar. We had 5.
Oh, that's the gold star. Overachievers.
But one of ours was the musical notes.
Oh, each note.
Note by itself could be beautiful, but when you put it all together, you can get sad, you can get happy, you can get reflective, whatever.
In whatever order they come, they make a different piece. Our friend Chris Stackett has a sermon on the space between notes, that the silence between notes has an impact too. Other metaphors? Anybody on this side? Coral? A river. Oh. Yeah. So a river, we gather sand, we move forward together, we flow. My life flows on like endless song. Any others? Okay, one more, Leslie. Oh, and then Paula. Go ahead, Leslie. Homecoming. Homecoming. Like football games? Oh, walking in and feeling at home. That's beautiful. Paula? Sourdough starter. Somebody had a pandemic hobby. No, what's the metaphor?
It can't survive on its own.
Can't survive on its own.
It's refreshed periodically.
Refreshed.
Share it with others.
Oh, you share it with others.
And it will grow.
Aw. And I hear a commitment here to bring sourdough donuts to the minister. Yeah? Our metaphor, we came up with 2, but one of our metaphors was a coral reef. There are all these different, there's huge diversity. Some of us are a little pokey and spiny and prickly. Some of us are firm in our ways. Some of us bend and move with the tides. And we're desperately impacted by climate change. So thank you all. Let's keep imagining, right? And with all of us here together, we imagine how this community is going to come together.
Your mission, should you decide to accept it, is to rise and sing the last hymn and find as many of those metaphors that we just said as you can in the last hymn, which is Fire of Commitment, 1028 in the hymnal. Please rise as you are able. From the fire of remembered burns of beacon bright and clear, guiding hands and hearts and spirits into faith set free from fear. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flames that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the stories of our living rings a song both brave and free, calling pilgrims still to witness to the life of liberty. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the dreams of youthful vision comes a new prophetic voice, which demands a deeper justice built by our courageous choice. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise has fulfillment and our future can begin.
I invite you to speak these words of chalice extinguishing from Citizens of Our Communities, Our Nation, Our World by Sherry Woodbury. Let us continue to grow as citizens of our communities, our nation, and our world. Let us work to build the common good for ourselves and the generations to come. May it be so. Amen.
Amen.